Hey guys, welcome to the Rosario Homestead and Garden. I'm going to show you today how to make homemade bread bowls. I'm going to make two different videos today. One will be with the regular active dry yeasted packages, and the other will be with our sourdough starter. So this one we're going to be using the active dry yeast. So let me get started on showing you guys how to do this. First thing you want to do is activate your yeast. So how we're going to do that is you are going to take 3 cups of really warm water, probably about 80 degrees. And then you want to add half of a teaspoon of sugar. Yep, that's that one. And then you want to add 2 packets of the active dry yeast. If you don't have the packets of this, it is 1.5 tablespoons if you have the jars. And this is going to need to sit for about 5 minutes, so I have a small wire whisk just to kind of give it a little bit of a mix in here. And then let that sit so it can get frothy or foamy for about 5 minutes. So I'll be back in about 5 minutes, and then we'll add our flour and everything. Okay guys. So now our yeast is nice and foamy. Let me see if I can get you in there to see that. That's been about 6 minutes or so. So now to this we are going to add 2 tablespoons of sugar. We are going to add 4 tablespoons of melted butter. And I am also going to add a 1 tablespoon of salt. And I'm going to turn that on. Okay. Now, here's the thing with bread bowls. You need 7 to 9 cups of flour. I will be using, I mix it in half. Let me move these out of the way here because we need that later. I have 3 cups of, let's see if I can get you guys out a little bit. I have 3 cups of all-purpose flour in here. And I have 4 cups of bread flour in here. So how I do this is I take 1 cup at a time. Okay, yeah, you guys can see that. I will take 1 cup at a time of each and just pour it in slowly. And then I will start mixing this. Now once I get all of the flours combined into here, I will bring you guys back and show you how the dough should look. I'm going to start it out, slow, and I will continuously add the flour. It needs to knead for 5 minutes, and once everything's combined and this goes for 5 minutes, you should be able to touch the dough without it sticking to your hands. You know what, let me just... I really need to get one of those edges that go on here. a mess, but that's okay. Alright, so I'm going to let that knead for about 5 minutes or so, and then as soon as this is done, I'll show you what it looks like. Alright guys, so we've been going for a little over 5 minutes here, which it actually looks really good. It is, let me get this off here. And you'll see, you should be able to touch it. It's nice and like spandexy, I guess you'd call it. And it won't stick to your hands. So after that, what I'm going to do is take a bigger bowl, because this is going to double and this pan's too small, or the KitchenAid bowl. So I'm going to pour some, I have regular extra virgin olive oil, which I'm just going to put in the bottom of this bowl. Clean that up. And then I'm going to just dump this in there. Give it a spin, flip it over, spin it around. And then I'm going to cover this with saran wrap. And after I cover it with saran wrap, I'm going to put it in a warmer spot, and I'm going to let it sit for about 30 to 45 minutes. Half an hour to 45 minutes, this should be double this size and at least come up to the top of the bowl. So cover this with saran wrap, set it aside for about 30 minutes, and then as soon as that doubles, I'll be right back to show you guys. Alright guys, now that we have our dough that has risen, it's risen pretty good actually. I'm going to take this, I'm going to put this aside because we actually have to cover these again for a little bit, so let's put that aside. Alright. I am going to flour my countertop. And pour that out. Make sure your countertop's really clean, because you don't want any hairs or dirt or anything like that in your countertop. Let me move my lemon water out of the way. And how I like to do this, pour a little bit of flour over the top of that. Just keep that aside here. Here's how I'm going to do this. I try to make this so it's one shape, and then I'm going to work with one section at a time. I'm going to move this half out of the way, and I'm going to start with this one. And we need to get 4 equal sized pieces out of each of these to make 8. So I'm going to cut it in half, cut that in half, cut that in half. Work with one section at a time. Cover up the dough that you set aside until we can get to it. That way it doesn't get hard and crusty. Go ahead and move these. Let me show you how this is done. Now with this, all I do is take it and pull it. Take and pull, take and pull. And when it stops giving, you'll know, oh, like that, that it is done. Just kind of roll it Makes your thumbs hurt, so, you know, take your time. Once you get it like that, just kind of press the bottom down just a little. Don't put too much pressure. And just kind of spin it in a circle. I wax line my pans and then spray the top. And we're going to put 4 on each because these are also going to double up. So I'll get to that here in a minute and show you. In the meantime, let me see if I can pull this up a little bit here. And I'm going to do the same with all of these. Pull them, pull it, and push it in with my thumb. It takes about probably 2 hours in total to make bread bowls if you're using active dry yeast from the package or from the jars. It does take, it's an overnight process if you are using sourdough starter yeast. So I'm in the middle of making a video of that for you guys right now, so that will be up tomorrow. My sponge, the start with the sourdough yeast starter, is in the fridge, and that has to sit there overnight. So you guys will get that video tomorrow, guaranteed. But for now, back to that. All right, a little bit of pressure to flatten out the bottom, a little bit of a spin. So I'm going to get all these other ones done, and then I will show you guys how they're all on the pan. Alright guys, I am on the last one. Try to hurry up and get that done. And just so you guys can see how I'm doing this, I'm just taking part of the edge and pulling and folding it over and pushing in at the same time. Pull it, fold it, push it. And I'm just kind of spinning it around as I go. That's about good. Then I kind of just push it down a little bit. That way it flattens out the bottom. Spin it to give it some shape. Okay, real quick. You need to do an egg wash on the top. So I have 1 egg white and 1 tablespoon of milk. Why does that look weird? Okay. Now, you want to make sure, I stagger these a little bit because we're going to cover these for half an hour and let them sit, and they will double up. So how I do this is I just take a knife and I put an X across the top. There we go. You don't have to do that if you don't want to. I find it bakes easier, and to me, I prefer to do that. So just a nice X across the top. All right. And then just take your egg wash and brush it on. You don't have to be gentle about it, just get it on there. is picking up. I think it's getting ready to storm. Last I knew, we had some pretty nasty storms coming in today, which puts a halt on everything that needs done outside. So, okay. So that's what those look like. And now all I'm going to do is cover these. Oh, why is it so hard always? I'm just going to lightly cover them, just enough to make sure that they don't get crusty and hard. Okay. Just kind of tuck it down. And then let these sit out on the counter for 30 minutes. And then they will rise, they'll double up. And then you can bake them. And then you put them in a 400-degree oven for, oh goodness, is it, give me a second, 400? I'm doing 2 videos right here. 400 for 25 minutes. Yes. I'm making these bread bowls because I'm making homemade chicken Alfredo tonight, so maybe I'll shoot you guys a video on how to do homemade noodles and then show you in the noodle video what the bread bowls look like with the food in them, because it's really good. Okay, so set these aside for 30 minutes. Set a timer for 30 minutes, and then in 30 minutes, go ahead now and preheat your oven to 400, so by the time it heats all the way up, you'll be able to toss these in. 30 minutes, put these in a 400-degree oven for 25 minutes. So as soon as I pull these out of the oven, I will show you guys what they look like and then what to do next. Okay, they should look like this after they've risen the second time. So 400 for 25 minutes, and then I'll show you guys what they look like when they come out. Alright guys, we got a couple seconds till these come out of the oven. There we have it. Let's check these babies out and see how well they turned out. Yeah. And there you have the bread bowls. So we're going to let these cool off for about 10 or 15 minutes, and then we're going to cut the centers at a diagonal down in all the way around, and then we'll take the center of it out to create the bowl. So we're going to let these cool off for a few minutes, and then hold on. Yeah, they need to cool off for a few minutes. They're pretty hot. So they actually look very, very good. Look at that. Oh yeah. So in a few minutes we'll get these cooled off, and then I'll show you guys how to cut them. Okay. So the last step to this, I did a few of these already, is all you do is just like a pumpkin, pretty much. I go in with a slant and just spin it and cut inwards. And then if you want to, you could take, the centers of it right here. You could pick that out. I'm making chicken carbonara for dinner, so that's what I'll be filling my bread bowls with, is chicken carbonara, which maybe I'll show you guys a picture of that. Like I said, just like a pumpkin. Bring that up nice and close for you guys. There's your bowl. You can see the steam coming off of it still. It's still hot, really hot on the inside, so be careful. The outsides are cool, but the insides are really hot. But there you guys have it. And tomorrow I will show you guys how to make a loaf of sourdough bread and 4 bread bowls, because you can use the recipe that I'm doing tomorrow. Right now I have this starter yeast fermenting, and I'm getting ready to toss that in the fridge, and then that has to stay in my refrigerator overnight so I can finish that video in the morning. But you guys will have that video tomorrow, and that video, actually, that recipe will do bread or bread bowls, whichever. This also does the same. Just put it in your loaf pans, and and just kind of keep an eye on how long you keep it in the oven for. Just constantly, do a toothpick check. And it's pretty quick. Usually these take about 25 to 30 minutes tops. So even if you make small loaves, put it in a small loaf pan, check it after 30 minutes, it should be good to go. I'll put the recipe in the description box down below. That way you guys have the directions on how to do this. It's pretty quick, it's easy, it takes about 2 hours. It's really simple, and it's really good when you have chili or chicken carbonara or spaghetti or pot roast. Anything that goes with bread is awesome. So, okay, like and subscribe to my channel and share this video if you like it.